Thank you very much, ma. I can hear you, ma.
No problem, I'm with you. Yeah, I will want to talk about GST,
Okay.
all right? We want to talk about
All right.
something that you do every day, okay?
Okay.
All right, so welcome. My name is Dr.
Yeah.
Felicia Oame.
Okay.
You can hear me?
Hello.
Dr. Felicia Oame.
Yes, I can hear you, ma.
All right. So welcome to GST
Yes, ma.
101.
Yes, ma.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma.
now we decided we are going to be meeting online so that we discuss,
Okay.
so that you get to understand the course you are doing better. That's the purpose for which we are here.
Okay.
Now, GST 101 is a 2 credit unit course. I hope you are aware.
Yes, ma.
It's a 2 credit unit course. In fact, the title of the course is The Use of English and Communication Skills 1.
Yeah.
So in this course,
Yeah, I'm with you, ma.
yeah, in language,
Yes.
we have four skills in language.
4 skills.
Yeah, we have 4.
Okay.
Actually, we have 4. All right. Now, the skills in language that a student needs to know are 4. You have the listening skill, you have the speaking skill, you have the writing skill, and you have the reading skill. We're together.
Okay. Yes.
All right. So
listening, speaking, writing and reading.
Yes, those are the 4 skills. All right. But for GST 101, our interest is in listening and reading. Okay?
Okay.
Don't forget, GST 101 is about communication. We're looking at communication skills.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So the overall interest of this exercise is to help you to understand how to communicate effectively in English.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the overall interest. As a student, to do well, you need to communicate well in English. And so that's the overall skill. That's the overall aim of GST 101. All right. So, and the focus for us in GST 101 is listening and reading. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, for a student of Open University and students everywhere, actually,
yes,
you are interested in you have an interest in the art of communication because you want to learn how information is exchanged. You get it? You've got to have expertise in how information is exchanged. And that's one of the things we want to learn here. How do I communicate in such a way? How do I get information from my lectures, from my classes? How do I get information? Okay. Now, so what? And,
no, I'm with you, ma.
And before I go further, don't worry. Before I go further, I want to say that this online exercise is going to be for 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Oh, sorry. It's going to be a 7. It's going to be a 7 week.
Hello?
Yeah, the online facilitation is a 7-week program. We started already. I'm sure you are aware. It's a 7-week program.
Okay.
It will end in May, on May 5th. Okay, it's going to end on May 5th. And for GST 101, we'll be connecting this way.
Yes.
From 3 to 4 p.m. every Monday.
Okay.
I'm sure you're wondering how come we are here today. We tried yesterday to connect with you, but for some reasons we couldn't, so we rescheduled. All right. So we're together. Okay, so now we want to look at the objectives. I want to look at the objectives of I'm going to be sharing something with you now. Yeah. I'm sure if you look at the screen, you're seeing some things. Okay, what are the objectives of GST 101? Part of it is that at the end of your program of this GST 101, you should be able to use listening and enabling skills. We're going to be discussing that shortly. Okay? You should be able to use listening and enabling skills. You should be able to listen and comprehend or understand lectures, talks. The way I'm talking now, you should be able to understand. You should be able to take down notes. You should be able to take down notes while listening to lectures, to talks, and all that. You should be able to take down notes. You should be able to retrieve general and specific information. You should be able to listen as a student for main ideas in class while you're in class, or you go for a seminar, presentation, or something. You should have some skills that will help you identify the main ideas of the seminar or presentation. You should be able to, by the time we're done with this program, you should be able to interpret and evaluate a speaker's point of view. You should be able to evaluate. You should be critical in your listening and reading skills. You should be able to, skim and scan. These are terms that we're going to discuss later. You should be able to skim and scan different reading text. You should be able to read and comprehend at different speed levels. There are different speed levels for different kinds of comprehension that you want to gain. All right? You should be able to discuss. You should be able to discuss how to develop your vocabulary, your word stock. All right? And you should be able to acquire some vocabulary from different academic fields. All right. Now, you should be able to also, there are different texts, there are different types of text. As a student of GST 101, at the end of this program, it is expected that you'll be able to, you'll be able to understand different types of text. When you have a text, either narrative, expository, whatever, you know how to tackle, how to attack through listening and reading to be able to, comprehend and be able to, do well in your exams and, well, in other fora, not just for exams. We're training you beyond exams. We want you to be capable to be able to use your listening skills as students of the National Open University of Nigeria. Okay? And you should be able to read and understand scientific text. I'm aware that some of us who are here now may not be science students. So by the time we're through with GST 101, you should be able to have some strategies on listening and reading to be able to, read and understand scientific text. And then, well, here, you should be able to interpret, you should be able to interpret varying skills, all right? Should be able to interpret varying skills. Interpret what the text is about, evaluate authors' viewpoints, interpret all sorts of text. Okay, we are together, right? Okay. Now we're going to be going to something quite interesting. I decided to give us that background so that we understand what the business we're here for. All right. Now, if you remember, I think last week, I asked a question, I posted a question, and a good number of you responded to it. I wanted to know, what is listening? We do it all the time. It has become part of us, but if we have to define it now, we keep thinking, what is listening? Now, listening involves receiving a sound, a language, or message through the ears. You receive a sound. As I'm talking now, sounds are coming to you, right? You receive a sound through, receive messages through a sound, through a language. That's listening. And listening requires active participation. That's why we're doing this, so that you gain expertise. You get it? I hope you are getting me.
Yes.
You're getting me, guys?
Yes, sure.
All right, thanks. Now, listening requires that you participate. That's what I've just done. I needed a feedback to know that you are with me, okay? And we listen for different reasons. You could listen, you could listen to a gist. You could listen to conversation. We listen for information. Sometimes we listen for instructions. Sometimes we listen for direction. But we do it every day, all right? So that means it's an everyday affair, okay?
Yeah.
So the next question now is, who is a listener? Who is a listener? You are a listener. You're listening to me now. Everybody listens, okay? We're all listeners. Now, but as students, listening becomes more compulsory for us, if I may put it that way, because we need to gather information, okay? We need to get directions. We need to get instructions. And we need to critically evaluate what a speaker is saying to us. The difference between you and the woman selling rice, on the streets, is that you are a bit more, you are critical. You are critical, when you listen to a thing, you evaluate it, you don't just swallow it up. Now listening could come in form of lectures. Listening could come in form of tape recorder for you as students of ODL. It could come in form of radio, television, video, all right? Listening could come in different dimensions. All right. Now let's look at this. I mentioned something earlier. I was saying something about listening enabling skills. And listening enabling skills. I'm sure you have started reading your module, your course material, right?
Yes.
Okay. So listening enabling skills, what are they? Listening enabling skills are those skills or expertise, okay, that you acquire as students, or those abilities that you have as a human being, and maybe specifically as a student now, that could help you to effectively listen to lectures, to talks, to seminars, to the radio, and you will get it right. Now, I'm going to be asking us a question as we go. Before you ask me, I will ask you. Now, listening enabling skills, the first one is functioning ears. If you have defects, you may not be able to listen well. Are we in agreement with that?
Yes.
Do we agree? If you have problems with your ears, you may not listen well. And if you don't concentrate, these are listening enabling skills. One of them is that you have functioning ears, very crucial and key. And then another is that you concentrate. A student in class must concentrate, otherwise you cannot listen. When we were talking, we were saying that listening is an active participation required from both the student and maybe the speaker. You've got to listen. Now, you've got to concentrate, and you've got to think along with the speaker. As I'm talking now, you think along. You try to understand what I'm saying. You try to understand my point of view. Your mind stays on the work, on what we're doing, on the activity. And then another one is that you must be able to anticipate the things that I'm going to say next. Anticipation is, as I'm speaking now, you are able to an extent to follow. For example, if I say first, you can anticipate that the next point is going to be second, right? You can anticipate that it's going to be first, second, third, and maybe last or final as I speak. And then another one is that you have to be able to, one of the listening enabling skills is the ability to note signposts that keep listening activities going on. Please hold on, I'm trying to send I've just sent a question and we're going to be looking at it together. But don't forget, listening enabling skills, just like I've told you now, one of them is the ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say. And then the last one here, there are more, ability to note signposts that keep the listening activity going on. Ability to note signposts that keep the listening activity going on. All right, I see people are already responding to my chat. Can the deaf hear? Let's talk about it, let's discuss it. Just do this when you want to answer. Can the deaf person hear? Okay, let me hear from you, Temitayo. Can the deaf hear?
Yes.
The deaf
Yes,
can
definitely.
hear.
The deaf can hear through signposts. They can't hear, but they can see through signposts, then sign languages.
But if you check our course material, there's something that says the deaf can hear. Have you read it up to that point? Yes, Sarah, you want to say something? Or okay. Temitayo, you think the deaf can hear?
Yes, I think they can hear through the signposts. Seeing the signposts, they can easily detect it through their brain and digest it and turn it to something that, as in like a signpost telling them where to go to, is a kind of way to listen to the signpost, then go to the direction the signpost is telling them.
Thank you, I appreciate. Great, I like you guys. All right, Sarah, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I'm confused. Is it called hearing, or is it that they can hear or they can understand?
Sorry?
I don't think they can hear. I don't think they can hear. I think they can understand signs and posts, but I don't think it's called hearing.
Okay. All right, thank you guys. You guys are doing great. Thank you. You can unmute now. So I keep talking. So mute and thanks. Yes, you guys have just given me some feedback. That was brilliant. From my understanding, people who are completely deaf may not hear, all right? But people who have, you know, there are some who are just partially deaf, all right? Are you aware? There are some persons who are partially deaf, yeah. Now, what they do, you could have implants, like hearing aids. It will still help such persons to hear. So I think there are categories of deaf people, if we want to put it that way, all right? So some still have some level of ability to hear, but they are not like us. So with them, if you do implants, there are aids that can be fixed to their ears, they can still hear, all right? Okay, so let's go on. That was just a way that was a teaser. That was a teaser. Now, you know, if you remember, I mentioned signpost. These are part of enabling skills. Signposts that will, you know, will help you to listen effectively. So what are they? There are clues or signals which help a listener identify important ideas in a speech, talk, or lecture. Those are signposts. There are clues, there are signals. They help a listener to, to know when important ideas are coming up in a lecture. For example, let's not even use lecture. Let me use narrative text, for example. If I start a narrative text and I say once upon a time, you definitely know the important clue is not there, right? So that's the introduction. Okay? But as you keep going on, you will be seeing some things that will show you that here are important aspects of this lecture, of this presentation, and all that. For example, if I say firstly, secondly, next, last, now, and all of that, you begin to have an idea that the things I'm talking about, these are important aspects. Okay? Okay, and if you remember, I mentioned, it's like these examples I'm giving now, firstly, secondly, and all that. I mentioned it when I said ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say. And now we're also saying that those signals will also serve as signposts for you to know that the things that the speaker is about to say are important. All right? Dr. Clara, you are welcome. Okay, so let's go on. Now we're looking at listening comprehension. Now, from the things I've been saying, I've been saying some things. We're looking at listening comprehension now. Because like I said earlier, if you remember, as a student, you are listening for a purpose. Okay? You listen to gather information. You listen to get instructions. You listen to get directions and all that. And now we want to look at listening comprehension. Why is comprehension related to listening? When you were young, you did something on reading comprehension, right? Can you remember? You did something on reading comprehension. Can you remember? As children, you did reading comprehension and all that. Fine, thank you, Temitayo. So now we're looking at listening comprehension. Why is comprehension related to listening? When I listen to a lecture, for example, as we're doing now, the idea is not to get all the things I'm saying here now, right? The idea of this meeting is not to get everything I'm saying from A to Z, right? The idea is first you want to understand, what is this Dr. Felicia talking about really? Where is she coming from? So that's one of the reasons why you are listening. And you are listening to gather the general information. Okay, let me hear what she wants to say, generally, all right? So if you listen to me, we've talked about online facilitation, the time, the date, the time, and all that. Okay, let me hear her. Let me even know her. It's part of the reason why you're here, all right? So you get general information when you listen. But as students, and here we go, you listen for specific information more. So that when I pick a CD in GST 101, the idea is to get to the bottom, the crux of the matter. The idea is to get to the bottom of it. What is GST 101 all about? So if I pick a CD on GST 101 and I listen to it, I'm looking for specific information. The specific information that I listen to will help me when I get to do the exams, will help me when I decide to discuss GST 101 in my discussion group, will help me when I decide, when I am called upon to teach others what GST 101 is all about. So, listening and comprehension are related. Because when you listen, the whole idea is to understand. And the only way you can now understand is to go with that mind to get general information as students, to get specific information as students. All right? Okay, what should you do in order to comprehend while you are listening? Can Chris Mawo hear me? I decided to do that. I decided to do that for a reason. What should you do in order to comprehend while you are listening? Somebody give me an answer. Don't give me an idea. What should I do to be able to understand, to be able to comprehend while I'm listening? One answer.
To be focused.
Who gave the answer?
To be focused.
I'd like to know the person who is giving me the answer. Wave your hand.
John.
Okay, John. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. One of the things I need to do to comprehend is that first of all, I must listen. If I want to understand, we're saying that listening and comprehension are related. If I must understand, if I must get the information, remember general information, specific information, remember? If I must get them, I must listen attentively. Number two, I must consciously follow the speaker. If you notice, one of the things we've been having feedback, right? And I can see there's response from here and there. Consciously follow the speaker. That's one of the ways to comprehend why you are listening.
Please, can I ask a question?
Sorry, can you allow me to finish this? Who is asking a question? Who is asking a question, please?
I'm the one.
Please send it as chat, so we are not interrupting
I'm the one, Rosemary.
That's what I'm saying. Send it to me as a...
Okay, ma.
Okay, no problem. Just hold it. Hold it. You can ask the question later. Let me finish what I'm saying. Don't send it. All right, thank you. Now you must possess a wide range of vocabulary related to the subject being discussed. Who knows what vocabulary is? What is vocabulary? Check your... I've just sent it to you. What is vocabulary? Are we together?
Yes,
what is vocabulary? Okay, let me just go on. Vocabulary is your word stock. The words that you have in a particular subject matter.
Yeah.
So you have to have the vocabulary, otherwise it may be difficult for you to follow. Then you bring your experience of the word to bear on the topic. You show interest in the topic. Then you recognize general speech patterns and major speech divisions. You must show interest in the topic, otherwise it will be difficult to understand what you are listening to. Are you getting me? You must show interest in the topic. And then I said, you must recognize general speech pattern and major speech divisions. This is the last one I'm going to take. Then Rosemary, you can ask me the question. Now, what are major speech divisions? What are major speech divisions? So as we are talking now, since I started this training, my speech has been divided into different parts. There's the introduction. When you're listening to a talk, a seminar, a lecture, there's the introduction. Every lecturer comes in, introduces himself. If he hasn't taught you before, he tells you his name. He tells you the topic for the day and all that. Those are introductions. Then there's the main body of your speech or of a lecture. That is where the main ideas of a lecture or a seminar or whatever are shared. Then there are what we call transitional clues. Transitional clues. As we go on, as we teach, as we lecture, we'll be moving from one level to another. And we use linguistic elements to show the transitions. I can say before, last, finally, similarly,
Moreover.
nevertheless, in conclusion. Those are transitions, showing how the lecture is moving from one level to another. Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then, of course, shift of emphasis. As I'm teaching, there'll be shift of emphasis. From the way I'm talking, I'm moving from one aspect of how important the talk is. I keep moving, I keep shifting my emphasis. So those are major speech divisions. Part of the speech division, the summary of what I'm saying is part of the speech division. Concluding remarks, part of the speech division. Signals to show that I'm changing my ideas. In contrast, similarly, nevertheless, however, those are signals that show that I'm changing, my ideas. Okay. And what are the factors that affect comprehension? When you are not familiar with the topic, when you lack concentration, when you have no interest, and of course, if the can you still hear? Sarah?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, summary, limited language and vocabulary. If you have a problem with the vocabulary of a particular field, when you are hearing a presentation in that regard, you may not be able to flow. All right, Rosemary, let me quickly take your question.
What I want to say is that although I came in late, but I don't know if you can give me a hint of what you have said already.
Okay, what I have taught already. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, I came in late.
Well, I've introduced, you may have to call me and we talk about it, but the truth is, I've introduced what GST 101 is all about, okay? Okay, maybe I should say it for some of us who came in late, to thank you, Rose, for the question. For those of us who came in a bit late, I said GST 101 is about communication skills, and our interest in GST 101 is to teach reading and listening skills. 101 is to teach reading and listening skills. Okay?
Okay.
So that is what it's all about. See, we are here to discuss how to acquire skills, enabling skills that will help you as a student to listen better and to read better, so that your output, your performance will be better in exams and in your relationship with people around you, because communication is an everyday affair. You do it every day. You listen every day. You read a lot as a student. So you need the skills that we are teaching here. And I said the objectives of GST 101 is that at the end of the day, you will be able to use your enabling skills, to retrieve general and specific information through listening. You'll be able to perform better in listening as a student, for main ideas in lectures, in seminars. Okay? Okay? You should be able to acquire skills in how to read diverse text, different types of text, and all that. I hope you are listening, Mary.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, good. It's good to know that. So,
I'm listening to you.
And then we decided that there are so many of them. You'll find them in your course material, actually. And then I informed early in this talk, in this facilitation, that this program is a 7-week program. Every Monday from 3 to 4, we meet, all right, to talk, to discuss every Monday, all right, but from 3 to 4 every Monday, all right. And then I asked the question, which I had posted before. I said, what is listening? I asked the question, I said, what is listening?
Okay.
And we discovered from our discussion that listening is an active participation. Okay? Although it's an everyday affair, yet you actively participate in it. Okay? You listen to receive a sound, a language, a message through the ears. That's why you listen. Okay? And then we said, as we listen for different things, we listen to conversation, we listen for information, we listen to get instructions, we listen to get direction. All right? So we now asked ourselves, we said, who is a listener? And we discovered from our discussion and interaction that a listener, that we are all listeners. Okay? We discovered that we are all listeners. So we listen every day, it's an everyday activity. But as students of National Open University, yours go beyond just listening as an everyday activity. You are actually listening to gather information. You listen to get direction. You listen to get instructions. And you listen to critically evaluate what I'm saying now as a speaker. So as I'm speaking now, you are listening to different things. Okay? And then we said, for you as students, distance learning students in particular, you could listen to lecture the way we are doing it now. You could listen to a tape recorder. You could listen to a radio. You could listen to CDs. You could listen to television. You could listen to a video. All right. You're getting me?
Okay.
Okay, and then we now looked at enabling skills. And that was why I asked the question. I asked your colleagues a question. Because the first enabling skill says a good listener must